All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the alaracanfieldshow, the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Special day, Sunday. But we're here today with Emily Ghosh Harris. And because of the hurricane last week, we moved it to today. And we're going to be talking about deepening soul purpose and prosperity, astrology and numerology to support your creative expression and 5D business evolution. And some of what we're going to discuss today includes the current astrological and energetic forecast, how to use astrology and numerology to support your soul and business evolution, alchemizing business wounds into blessings, becoming abundant, doing what you love, finding the confidence, worthiness, and clarity to move forward with your big dreams, and attuning to your next level of expansion. So there's a lot. We're going to be doing a lot, and we're going to be taking live caller questions, I'm sure. It's always so much fun. And for those of you who don't know Emily, she was with us earlier this year in June, at the end of June. Absolutely loved that show. Absolutely loved our conversation. So much fun, learned so much. Oh my goodness. And so she's back with us today, and she is an intuitive guide and business mentor here to help humanity reconnect to their divine gifts, remember what it feels like to love themselves unconditionally, and return to unity consciousness. She is the founder and CEO of Soul Media, which is a company focused on elevating conscious companies and spiritual entrepreneurs through digital marketing, holistic consulting, and intuitive business practices. So I'm so excited for this conversation with Emily because, like I said, last time we had such a wonderful conversation, wonderful experience. I mean, I got so many ahas through our conversation that it's like, okay, Emily has to come back because there's so much to discuss, and I love your energy. And like I said, we are going to be taking live caller questions, hopefully, yes. So please, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat when we get to that point. So Emily, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back.
Oh, Alara, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and you have such a beautiful community. I'm so excited to be here together today.
Thank you. And I'm glad it all worked out too with, us being able to move the show to today. So because I know how important it is right now for all of us to be really, doing what we love and using all of our gifts at the same time to create in the world, right? We're all here to be creators and create with our gifts, our energy, our strengths, everything that we have. And sometimes, we get into difficulties. So we're going to talk a little bit about alchemizing some of those business wounds, right? Or wounds, period. So I'm not sure where you want to start, but let's just start off first by just a little bit about the current astrological and energetic forecast. Like I was just saying that we are just out of Mercury retrograde, thank God, right? So that is great. But what else is going on right now?
There's a lot happening in the month of October, astrologically, energetically. You mentioned that Mercury went direct today in Virgo, which is great. We might feel a little bit more forward movement in terms of communication, in terms of clarity. Mercury is exalted in the sign of Virgo. It is at home there, and Mercury is the planet it's the messenger, right? So we're gonna feel this forward movement of energy moving us through this month. There's a grand air trine that's happening throughout the month of October. And with a grand air trine, we have this forward movement and flow that's punctuated. It's kicked off. We have a big, big full moon that's happening on October 9th. And what's interesting about the full moon, Alara, is that Chiron is conjunct with the full moon at 16 degrees of Aries. And so it's helpful for people to look at these areas of their chart where they have the air signs in their chart, and also where they have 16 degrees of Aries, because there's a significant amount of healing that's happening. Whenever there's a full moon, it is a time of release energetically. And this is really, Chiron and Aries is about sort of that people-pleasing aspect of ourselves. The ones where we kind of edit ourselves, or we aren't, we have fear around being our big, courageous self. So this energy of this month is really about how we can move forward in a lighter way. You know, air is a supportive, energetic energy that moves us forward, and Aries wants us to move forward in a bold way. So this is a good time to really invite and take inventory of where we might want to be moving forward in a new way that is bold, that's aligned with our dreams, with our courage, and also with Libra season 2, there is this idea of balance and harmony and the scales, right? Libra is represented by the scales. And so this is a time energetically where we can really connect with what scales we're using to value our lives, because those are going to be different for each of us, right? And this is such an important lens. And when we're moving into this eclipse portal at the end of October, coming into November. And so the eclipses are all about personal transformation and growth. So this is a good lens to really be evaluating, where am I valuing? Is there power that I'm giving externally? How can I really reclaim that power for myself and move forward in a more harmonious way?
I love that. And it really is about, for me, it's always about moving forward. Like there's always, because when I get that stuck energy, it's like I need to move, I need to do something, I need to move forward, but you're right, it's about being in harmony with ourselves and our businesses and the world, right? And so it's not about just pushing in one area of our lives, but finding that balance in all areas of our lives, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the interesting thing about balance is that balance is constantly fluctuating. We never have this, stagnant feeling of balance. It's always something that we're attuning to, whether there's something that's happening in our families, or there's something that's happening in our lives, in our personal lives, or in our business. It's noticing that life is constantly fluid. It's moving, and it requires us to adjust and adapt with it. And so what's so beautiful about finding balance and harmony is that sometimes it's just something really subtle that's needing our attunement, our attention, that will
Right.
bring us back into balance and harmony.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes that subtle thing could be something as simple as self-care, self-nurturing, asking ourselves, what do I require in this moment? Right. And I mean, that should be a regular everyday thing. But I know, like right now for myself, I am going to Canada on Thursday. So I'm finally going home after 2.5 years. And it's like, I need that. That is something I need for myself, right? To be nurtured, and just to fill up my well again, since it's been a while, and going through so many difficult challenges with my husband and everything. So it's like I need to be filled up, right? So finding out what you require, because then once you know what you need, then it's easier for you to then create more or do more or be more and just be yourself even more, because like sometimes you might be missing those key aspects, right? So me, not able to go home for a long time, is a piece that was missing, right? And so having that freedom, having that flexibility, having that care and support is what I need right now, right? So it's important for all of us to ask, what do you need for yourself? And go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that so much, because it's really connecting with what is going to bring us more joy, what is going to bring us this lighter sense of being. And that's really what I'm feeling is, what can we let go of to feel a little bit lighter, or what can we call in our focus on? So yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And so so not all of us, I'm sure most of us, but not everybody knows about their astrological charts or even numerology, and how they can use that to support themselves on a day-to-day basis or a monthly basis, right? But we all do know about when there's a full moon, when there's a new moon, when there's an eclipse. I mean, all that stuff we know. There's so much happening all the time regarding releasing, new beginnings, and like you said, personal transformation, right? Regardless of what sign you're in, that's always an ongoing thing, right?
Yep. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think for me personally, astrology has been such a tremendous tool for self-love and really understanding myself on a deeper level. And so astrology impacts all of us. And I think when we have that insight of being able to, see our natal chart, look at some of the key placements that are expressing, because really astrology is a map of the placements of the planet at the very time that we entered the world.
Mhm.
And what it can do is really to illuminate our soul's path in this lifetime and also shed light upon perhaps where we've been in previous incarnations. And it helps us to better understand some of the challenging aspects we may be moving through, as well as our innate gifts and abilities.
Right. Wow, there's a lot. There's a lot that's possible for us to know through our natal chart, right? It's like I've had I've done my natal chart a couple of times from different people, and I always receive so much information, and some of it is different, right? And it's like, and sometimes I'm like, who am I? It's like, who is that person that they're talking about? It's like, does something happen to me along the way that I just am not that person that they're saying, So it's like, it's interesting to see the possibilities, I think, right? So what was possible when you were first born? And then some of us, I think, have been through a lot of different experiences, difficult experiences. I know a lot of people in the community have also experienced like walk-ins, etc. Right? So then their whole life plan changes, right? Everything changes, right? So how can this is totally off topic, but anyways, how have you found that when you're doing your astrological work, have you found that sometimes the chart that you are reading, it's different because people have experienced like personal awakenings, spiritual awakenings, walk-ins, etc.? Just a curiosity question to
Yeah,
ask.
I love your question so much. It's a beautiful question. And I think what it really hits on is the fact that we're so multidimensional in nature. And I was actually just having this conversation with my mom yesterday
Hmm.
because I'm a twin. And so, technically my twin brother and I have, the same natal chart. However, it's expressing in a different way. And so, there's always that element and that aspect of we can work with those placements in any way that we choose. And so
Right.
there's not a stagnant, it's multidimensional. And of course, there's an element of really connecting in as, a portal to the birth chart to be able to really deepen and discover more.
Hmm. Interesting. It's just so fascinating because even before you were coming on the show and you had, said you wanted to get my birth chart information, I was actually going to message you say, "Hey, can I get a reading with you?" Because I just
Oh
want
my
to know what's going on, right? And I had heard from Manisha specifically because she had a call with you earlier this year, and she absolutely loved it. She was raving about it so much, right? And I hadn't had a chance to like we had our conversation right before, but I didn't have a chance to have the reading, And it's like, oh yeah, I should do that. I should find out what's going on because everything is like there's so much flux. And I think for a lot of people right now there's so much flux, right? So there's so much change happening in our lives, in the world, in the energies that I think we all need to like have a look and see what is our chart actually saying about this time that we're experiencing right now.
Hmm. It can be so helpful. It can be so helpful just to look at, how the energy is moving through, what transits are taking place. And I just want to say hi to Manisha. It's wonderful to see you here. Yes, we had such a beautiful time together. And I'm so glad that you were going to ask that, Alara, about looking at your chart. You have such a powerful, chart, and there's a lot that's taking place for you with transits that are taking place. And this is information that can be helpful for us to move through, whether it's, moments in time in our business, whether we're, going to be putting out a new offering in the world, or if we're kind of working more behind the scenes on building the foundation, or really looking at, how things are forming energetically. So astrology can provide so many helpful insights to allow us to move through. And I think numerology as well can be, I like to use a variety of different modalities to kind of weave them together to get this holistic, multidimensional picture of where we are and where we're going.
Awesome, beautiful. And Manisha just wrote in the chat too. She says, wow, wow, wow. Thank you for so much for an amazing personal session. It was full of so much advice, guidance, many amazing nuggets and steps. Emily is very gifted, clairvoyant, was able to tap into my energy. She has multidimensional, astrological, energetic, clairvoyant business point of view. That's so beautiful, Manisha. Thank you. Because she had messaged me and told me that she was just, and I thought I'd sent you what she said, but I probably didn't. I probably didn't, but it was a beautiful message that she sent me, and I was so happy that she had such a wonderful experience with you. So yeah, so I mean, guys, I'm just like sharing this in this moment because obviously there's a lot of changes happening in my life personally and professionally, business wise, right? So that's the only reason why I'm actually talking about this at this point, saying we all should get our reading done, because there's so much change, right? And who I was last year is not who I am now. What I'm experiencing now is not the same as two years ago. Luckily, it's getting better, right? So personally, it's getting better, so thank God. But the thing is, if you were to ask me, 10 years ago, like if you looked at my life 10 years ago and who I am now, I'm not the same person, right? So the information that I would have received at that point, I would have gotten some stuff, but now who I am now when I get that information, it's going to impact me in a different way, right? I'm going to resonate it with the information in a different way. And I don't even remember, honestly, what some people have said, right? But now, maybe I've stepped into that fullness of what they were talking about, right? Maybe, I've gone through so many changes and so much healing and etc. And so many wounds have been alchemized into blessings that now I can receive everything that is in my chart. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. That's such a beautiful way of describing it. And that's exactly what it is. It meets us where we are. And it also, can help illuminate, to your point, areas where we might be finding some struggle or some challenges. But, I really truly believe that in the struggle is the blessing. And so oftentimes when we are going through something that's painful or challenging, it's there to help alchemize and transform us. And we're able to bring that energy forward. And not only to realize that in ourselves, but also to really see that as benefit in the collective. So I love that you hit on that. And, of course, I do just want to share, if it's okay, something that's really interesting about your chart. You have a grand kite in your chart, which is pretty rare in astrology, and the energy moves us forward. When you have a kite, it moves us forward evolutionarily. And at the top of yours is Uranus and Pluto conjunct. So certainly that is all about transformation, awakening, healing, such a powerful placement. But the focal point of that is Saturn. And Saturn is the great teacher. It keeps us on task. And so I think for all of us, we can look at where is Saturn in our charts? Where is that placement? Because that really does correlate with our soul purpose in this lifetime, because Saturn is there to help us develop mastery. It helps us to, cultivate that discipline in an area that our soul deeply desires to explore, deepen into. And for you have Saturn at 0 degrees of Aries in the 3rd house, which is about communication. It's about speaking and sharing.
All right, perfect, right?
Right? It's no surprise. And I just want to share also, like 0 degrees is the energy of starting something new. It's trying something new. And that is about courage, speaking with courage, really this initiator energy, clarity, courage, confidence, of speaking and sharing. And so obviously you are, such an embodiment and way share of that. But of course, that's something that with Saturn, it grows and evolves over time.
Wow, that is amazing. It's like, oh my God, I was not expecting that. And to be honest, some of you know this already, but when I was younger, I was very, very quiet. I did not talk at all. I mean, in class, anywhere, I used to stutter. I was supposed to always be seen and not heard, hardly seen. So for me, when I first started doing the telesummit, back in 2013, it's like, what? It's like it's like I'm talking, and I think at the beginning I did stutter a little bit, and I was very stilted, because I was reading, right? But I mean, now it's like I can't imagine doing anything else, right? I love to talk, right? And when I get started, it's really hard for me to stop, right? So just communicating and sharing what I think is important or relevant or maybe important for other people, so a lot of times it's not about me sharing just for the heck of sharing. I'm a very, very, very private person, right? So I only share if I think it's going to help somebody. Otherwise, I don't. I'm very, very private. I don't share hardly anything. But just you saying all that about the communication, and the awakenings and just and then like Saturn is about the teacher and the lessons, and it's like, oh my God, it's like I've gotten a lot of lessons in the past few years, but I know I'm in the middle of that 7-year period, so it's like there's going to be a few more, so it's like, oh, okay, let's do this, right?
Yes.
So it's also about embracing that, right? Instead of fearing it or resisting it, but embracing who we are, in every moment. And at the same time, what else can I become? Who else can I become? What else can I create? And you're right, the initiator, right? Because I'm always starting something new.
Yes, you've got lots of cardinal energy in your chart. So yeah, and manifesting generator and human design.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And, you're right. It does take courage, right? So you mentioned that part as well, the courage. And then in this time and space right now where we are, we still need a lot of courage to show up, to be ourselves in the face of judgment and rejection and all of that stuff, right? So for me, every day that I come on these shows, or like I've been doing these reels lately, right? It takes courage to show up, because like, especially with the reels and stuff, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just going to play with it, and I'm going to try it and see what happens. If somebody doesn't like it, oh well, right? But I'm doing it for me, and I'm just doing it like, okay, what else can I create? How, like, can I show up in a different way? Because like I said, I'm very private, so it's there's like a dichotomy, if I'm not sure if that's the right word I'm looking for, but I know I haven't shared everything about who I am
Yes,
yet,
yes.
you know.
I love that. Can I share one other thing that I found interesting, which is, your profile type in human design is a 6-2,
Yeah.
and that is the role model hermit. So it's like this person that really inspires through your own authenticity. And of course, with the 2, there's a need, to have some privacy.
Mhm.
In our lives. And I really love everything that you're sharing about the transformation and the evolution because I think that it does take so much courage to go after our big dreams. And there's so much resistance that we often have to move through. And even in our birth charts, we can find that there's things that we're up against that are, things within ourselves that are maybe, that are this conversation, shall we say,
Mhm.
this conversation. And even when there is that arises, if we're having that dream, if we're having that desire, then that path is for us. The path is the medicine. Following our gifts, following whatever is on our heart to create and bring forward is the divine medicine.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I think there's a saying, like, if you have a desire from your heart, it comes from your soul, it comes from spirit, you're divinely guided and inspired to create that. Right. So I always ask myself, okay, where is this coming from? Like whenever I have an idea or a thought, where is this coming from? Is it coming from my heart and soul, or is it coming from my ego? Right. And so so if it is coming from my ego, okay, let's bring it down. How can I switch that to be from service and from my heart? And that's how I know that, like whatever I do and create, whatever I'm creating in the world, it's much bigger than I think it is, than because I'm just little Shafali, little Alara, right? I'm nothing, I'm nobody, right? And so, but what I want to create is that that awareness for people that they are so special and they're so magical and they're so gifted and they're so supported and they're so loved and they're so cherished. And I know sometimes things are difficult, but things will get better, and we have resources, we have tools, we have support, and you're never alone and you're always loved. And I know I don't say that every day. I mean, I'll be honest, I when I'm on this platform, I give it up to the speaker to share what you want to share. I'm just here in the background. But really, that's what I hope that intention is always going through for everything that I do. That's my wish, is that intention is going through in everything that I do. So thank you for sharing that about my, a little piece. That was just a little piece, guys, about my profile, right? So there's a lot more that's there that may be helpful for you too. Later on when we talk about the package, you can look at it. But just be open to looking at your life, your path, your journey in a different way than what you are used to looking at it and how you've been looking at it. Something else is always possible. And that energy of something else is always possible takes you out of your head, takes you out of your ego, takes you out of your old mindset and programming into infinite possibilities. Because really, truly, there are infinite possibilities if you get out of your head and back into your heart space and connect with spirit. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think, what that brings up in me as you're sharing is this idea that we can always challenge our beliefs. And
Absolutely.
we should do this on a daily basis, because, talk about alchemizing wounds, the brain has a tendency to focus until it doesn't anymore, until we've trained it and attuned it to focus on the positive, to focus on the negative. And so we might have a story, I know for me personally, that story was a story of unworthiness, right? And so whatever our story is, whether it's unworthiness or a fear of rejection or, a need to feel like you need to be perfect or, to criticize, whatever that is, we can rewrite and tell ourselves a new story and create a new reality through changing our beliefs. And so that's what I think is so powerful about, following our dreams, really tapping into what is on our heart to bring us forward and to really write a new story. What is the intention of the belief that you would like to feel? Is it more confident? Is it more worthy? And how can you attune your brain, your senses, your heart to see all the ways that you are innately worthy, that you are confident? And as we begin doing this, we begin noticing it, and our reality begins to shift and change.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. And, and it's something that we should be looking at ourselves every day, every morning, every day that we wake up. All right. What is my intention for today? What do I want to create? How do I want to experience life? And those thoughts in our heads that are always there, it's like, yeah, I don't have time for you today. I want to focus on this. I want to focus on creating this. I want to embody this quality, this frequency, this value today. Because sometimes those thoughts that are in our head, they're just old programming and they've been there for eons, some of them, right? And so we have the choice to say no. We truly have that choice. It might take a long time, but we have to keep doing it, keep saying no until it switches, right? So
Yeah.
Go ahead. We were talking about go ahead.
Something that you said, it brought me back to, what you were saying earlier about movement, about, I always like to have this forward movement. I think that's really important because a lot of times it's the ego that's trying to keep us stuck. And so the antidote a lot of times is to find one simple step forward, one way to put your courage, your dreams in action, because through that movement, we find an expansion. We find the confidence that's always been there.
And not just that, we also find, more insight and awareness into the next step. right? But a lot of times we sit and think and mull and stew and we don't move, right? And so nothing's going to shift and change, right? Nothing is going to happen if you don't move. So as soon as you take one step, then you'll be guided to the next step, and so on and so forth. But you have to be willing to take that first step, and that's that courage piece that we talked about, right? And the confidence will build as you take those steps, as you do what you are here to do. And I'll take that back, not what you're here to do, but what lights you up in the moment. Okay, so there is no what you're here to do, it's what lights you up in the moment, right? So whatever makes you feel happy, joyful, whatever it is, lights you up, do that. And then more gifts are added unto you. I think there's a phrase in the Bible about that, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I haven't read the Bible in a long time, but I'm sure there's stuff like that in there. But the thing is, once you start, keep going. Don't quit. Just keep going. Take one step after the next, even if it feels like nothing is happening, right? Because on the external surface, it may feel like nothing's happening, but internally and energetically, a lot is shifting and changing. Am I right?
Yes, 1000%. And we become a vibrational match for that we're calling in. And I think this is so important because maybe we're at a job that we don't love, for example. And what we can do is take simple steps to make it more abundant for ourselves. And this might look like, decorating your desk and putting flowers on it so that there's beauty that surrounds you. It might look like making a new friend at work, or asking for a new project, or just taking a walk outside and taking more breaks throughout the day. And as we do that, as we consciously cultivate a new vibrational reality, our vibration shifts as a result. And so what happens is either we create a new vibrational reality in that job that we're in, for example, that we don't love, or our vibration, changes so much that that job is no longer a vibrational match for us. And all of a sudden we're moving into a different avenue. So it's really attuning to those things that will bring you more joy, more abundance in the present moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can have that in the present moment. You can feel abundant in the present moment. You can feel worthy and confident and have clarity in the present moment. It's not about waiting for something to happen before you feel that way. It's like like you just said, it's like raising our vibration, changing our vibration frequency to what we want, to what we want to experience. That attracts it to us because we're the same frequency and resonating at the same vibration, and we're a match to it, like you said. But we have to start feeling that first within, right? However you want to feel it, but start feeling it within, baby steps, So I know that was hard for me at the beginning. It's like, how can I imagine, like, how would I know what it feels like to feel this way when I've never felt this way? Right. So there's a lot of healing stuff involved as well, which we've done on this show many times. But a lot of it is just really, truly imagining when you're in that meditative state, because that's when you're creating. When you're in that meditative state and imagining, you're actually creating and then embodying and downloading those frequencies.
I love that you bring up imagination. I think it's one of the most powerful tools that we could possibly have and that we have access to every single day. And so giving ourselves permission to imagine, because if we can imagine a new reality, all of a sudden it becomes real. And it can take patience and it can take surrender, but it is through the process of continually imagining a new reality for ourselves. And I think something that you said about really having evidence, because the brain oftentimes looks for evidence of why we can't do something, what's standing in our way, what obstacles are there. And so what if we looked for evidence of our worthiness, of the abundance that is there in our lives, and start attuning to that? I will tell you from my own personal experience, can make such a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like you said, it's about your focus. Are you focusing on the lack and scarcity and the obstacles? Or are you focusing on the abundance and the grace and the gratitude and all the goodness in your life? Right. Yeah. And what you focus on is what you'll have more of, right? Where energy goes, or where attention goes, energy flows. It's the same thing with everything. Everything is energy. Okay. I mean, I'm loving this conversation because there's so many nuggets for all of us to take in. and take in and think about how are we applying them right now in our lives or not? And can we now apply them in a different way? Okay. So I know we touched a little bit about the astrology piece, but I want to talk a little bit more about the numerology,
Yes.
because that's also a big piece, and I don't think we touched on that enough yet.
Yeah, numerology can be so helpful for us. And, the idea behind numerology is that every number, every letter holds an energetic vibration, and that vibration impacts and influences our lives. And so when we know our basic life path number, that's an important number to get familiar with, and that's calculated just by adding the day of the month of your birth, the day of your birth, and the year of your birth together and bringing it down to a single digit, and you'll get your life path number. And that life path number has an overall sort of essence or quality that is with you throughout your entire life. It's an area of focus, and it helps really to identify areas that your soul naturally is gifted at and will be gravitating towards, because it's a part of who you are. And so the other number that I really like to look at when I'm doing a reading is the personal year number that you're in. And this can be really helpful for any of us navigating through, and also for those who have a business or are looking for something that's on their heart to create and bring forward, because we can see kind of what phase we are in the cycle. And there is a 9-year cycle that we move through in numerology, and this is the idea that on a year 1, we're starting something new, we're laying the new foundation, we're building this new energetic direction for our soul to move and expand through and grow and discover. And all the numbers along the way have a certain flavor, a certain character, a certain tonality to what we might be experiencing or focused on as we sort of build and grow in a new direction. And so they're punctuated. We'll often see, from a business perspective, we'll see 4 be a time when we're really focused on building, we're really focused on the structure, and then 8 tends to be sort of the culmination, the area, at a point in time where we see a lot of fruits of our labor. We see a lot of the seeds that we've planted throughout the course of our, cycle that we're moving through start to flourish and grow. There can be, as 8 is the infinity number, so we can see a lot of what our heart has been focused on start to, flourish in a very exciting and can be a very, forward showing way. And then 9 is the end of a cycle. It's the culmination. It's when we integrate. It's when we kind of deepen and connect with the lessons, and that embodiment, and also when we start to move in a new direction where our soul is guiding us next to kind of explore and discover. So this can be really helpful to connect with where we are on our personal year number, and then also our life path number overall. What is this energy that kind of moves through us, with us throughout this incarnation?
So I'm just going to invite everyone to calculate your life path number, just for fun. So it's your day of birth, month of birth, and your year of birth, right? I had to write it down. It's like I was trying to calculate it in my head, and it's like I've done this so many times. I think mine is 7.
It
right?
is. Yes.
Right. It's like it's 7. I know it's 7, but I was trying to add it in my head. I couldn't do it. I had to write the numbers down. But I know for myself, the 7 life path number isn't that all about like awakening and spirituality and things like that?
It is. It's about spirituality, and it's about information. It's about taking all of this spiritual information, the ability to analyze, synthesize, and make it digestible for other people. So
Okay.
makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay. I see that's an added piece, because I knew about the spirituality piece, but I didn't know about the, communication piece with it, So it's like, don't always believe everything you hear or read on the internet, because all I ever saw on the internet ever was like spirituality. It's like, okay, well, yeah, there's no secret there, but I didn't know about that sharing piece, and So that's interesting. So I'm doing that.
Yes, you absolutely are. And there is definitely the element of information with a 7 life path number.
Yeah, so I'm definitely doing this. So what is your life path number? I just want you all to, like, if you can type it in the chat, and you can always Google it afterwards as well, but just let us know what your life path number is, okay? So do you want to take some questions, Emily?
Yes, I would love to.
All right, so we're going to take some questions. You can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. So do you know like, off the top of your head what all the life path numbers mean? Like generally? Okay, thank God. Because I was going to say, it's like I'm asking everybody to write their life path numbers in, and so they're going to want to know, what does it mean? Like what so yeah.
Also too, for calculating your personal year number, you can do that easily as well. So you can add the month of your birth, the date of your birth, and then the year that we're in, which is 2022. That goes down to 6. So you can just easily add 6 to the month and the date.
Okay, good to know. 3, so it's 3 plus 8 plus 6, 17. So that's come down to an 8.
8, yep.
Okay, so that's the personal year. Okay.
And Alara, curious for you, with it being an 8-year, I mean, this can feel like a lot of the fruits of your labor, that you've been planting can start to flourish in a really exciting way. Does that resonate for you?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. It does. Thank you. So some people have written Odile is a 6, Caroline's a 9, Linda's a 7, Manisha is a 3, Chitra is an 8, Sandra is a 5. So there's quite there's no 1s or 2s. Hello, where are you all 1s and 2s and 6s? Oh, there's a 6. Okay, and yeah, so there's no 1s and 2s. Interesting. There you go. Iowana is a 1. Or that's the life path. Okay, anyways, whether it's a life path or personal number, you might want to write that in, because I won't know. So I know my life path is a 7, which I always knew, because I Googled it many times, and my personal year is an 8. So that's going to change every year, obviously.
Yes. Yeah, and oftentimes we'll feel the energy coming in about 6 months prior to our birthday, where we start to feel like the flavor, the energy shift to the next number.
Okay, good to know. All right, so do you want to just tell us really briefly about some of the life path numbers, what they mean?
Sure, yeah. So
and then we'll take some questions.
Okay, yeah. So just simply, 1 is about new beginnings. It's really the person that's here to try something new. Like, it's courage, it is adventure, it's trying new things, it's trying a lot of different things. It's having it's starting over in a new direction. And so that's really the energy of 1, is moving forward in a new way, trying new things, really that divine courage. 2 is about partnership. It's about union. It's about balance, about harmony. It's really this emphasis around having the harmony and balance. And oftentimes there is an emphasis on relationships and partnerships, specifically with a life path 2 number. Number 3, if you're a life path number 3, this is about creativity. This is about creative self-expression. It's about communication. There's a strong correlation to the 3rd house in astrology, which again is about communication, speaking. And so this is a very creative number, a life path number 3. Life path number 4 is about building structures. There's a down-to-earth element about a life path number 4, the ability to focus, to create practical systems and structures out of material, like really dependable, solid, practical, grounded, able to build structures and systems. Life path number 5 is it's the adventurer. It's called the adventurer. So this is a life path, a person that likely likes a lot of adventure, likes for movement, likes travel. Again, there's a correlation to the 5th house in astrology. So it's creative, creative play, joy, following your highest excitement. And then life path number 6, I think we have a couple 6s here. This is about the carer. So a lot of times a life path 6 number is somebody that really is family oriented, that has a strong connection to relationships, nurturing qualities, family oriented, a love of people, and caring, being the divine nurturer. So 7, we talked a little bit about 7 already. Life path number 8 is the CEO, the business leader. It's somebody that has a lot of leadership capabilities naturally, inherently. They're here to do something that perhaps is, visible in the world. And then finally, we have life path number 9, which is called the humanitarian. The person who is here to really be of service, a philanthropist, compassionate. And of course, then we have, some of the master numbers, 11, which 11, 22, and 33.
Wow, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, Brenda, I'm so glad you changed it, because like life path number 9 definitely resonates with you more than life path number 1. Yeah, good. Awesome. Thank you. And so a lot of these ones, see how that, has been playing out in your life. Does it resonate with you? I mean, for me, the 7 absolutely does resonate, right? It's like, it's right on target. And like I said, for my friend Brenda, yes, she's definitely a 9, right? Because I know her really well. So I know she's a 9, definitely makes sense. So what if, let's say my number was a 5, for example, right? But I'm acting like a 7. Is that possible? I don't even know if that's possible.
Absolutely, because there's so many different nuances to it, of course, and we can express in a multitude of different ways. But if there's an element, if you are a 5, for example, that's your life path number, something to kind of connect with and ask yourself is, are there ways that my soul is desiring more adventure, more more fun and excitement, and what might that look like for me? And so we can always connect with the energy and see if it resonates, and see how we might cultivate more of that in our lives.
Makes sense. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. So let's take some questions. Caroline has her hand raised, and Manisha has her hand raised. So we're going to go to Caroline first. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, my beautiful. And I have to see you.
Yes, definitely. That would be great.
So I'm in a year 11, and I'm a life path 9. Now, what's currently happening with me, lots of changes. My house is up for sale. And I think the metaphor of what I've gone through in the past month, cleaning up every single area of my house, is not one drawer, one corner that hasn't been cleaned, decluttered. So that tells me that major new beginnings. And I think I'm also on Saturn Return, born 1963. And so just looking at generally where I'm at, I know I'm on track with my gifts and my practice and so forth. And I've got a beautiful program that I'm working on right now. What's coming up for me?
Yes. Oh my gosh. So much exciting activity that's happening. And I love that you shared that you have a new course that you're going to be sharing with the world. That feels really exciting and expansive. And, with a 11 personal year, it's really about taking all of that spiritual wisdom and being able to share it as a gift with the world. And so it's really, such a beautiful teacher number, where we're really, teaching, we're connecting with that compassion. You have a 9 life path number. So really that compassionate heart, that love of being of service, and really shining in terms of how you're sharing your gifts with others. And you said Saturn return. Do you know where Saturn is in your chart?
I'm not really familiar with charts, but a few years ago I went to see an astrologer, and he said that, I think it was in around September, I was beginning my new Saturn return. Cancer, Cancer or Taurus. I'm a Cancer, so it may be in No, Capricorn. I just got it. Thank you. I just got it. Capricorn. Hmm.
Oh, okay, Capricorn. Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, so really like what structures and, foundations are you building for yourself that are supportive of you sharing and offering your gifts? Maybe it is like you were saying, simplifying and clearing out, and because a lot of times, it's that simplification that allows us to make room for all that we're calling in, or whether it's clients or, the work that we're doing in the world. It's, really being able to open up energetically for all that which we're calling in.
Yeah, we're not planning on purchasing another home. We're going to rent. There's a few things going on with my husband's health for next year, but and also, okay, I'll say it. Yeah, both my 13-year-old puppies passed away in the past 6 weeks. Like the last one just last week. So they both made their transition. So now there's literally nothing for me to take care of but myself. So it's like a clear path, right? So yeah, I don't know. We don't know where we're going to live. So I'm just listening to guidance and seeing where we're going to go. And my daughter moved to Australia, so we're going to go visit there and we'll see where I land. But no, you confirmed a few things. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. You're
Yeah.
so welcome. Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome,
Beautiful.
Caroline. And I'm so sorry
Thank
about your
you.
puppies or
Yeah.
dogs, fur
Yeah.
babies passing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, my sweet. Yeah.
I can't
Thank
imagine.
you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes,
be
please.
great.
Let me know. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. All right, Manisha, you want to unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello, Alara.
Hi.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Thank you for today, Alara and Emily. So my life path is 3. What I wanted to check with you, Emily, is that I think it could be the planets and the stars, that everything's still stagnant. I haven't moved to the next step. I've tried a few things, but not getting anywhere. So I was wondering if, is it just the planetary sort of obstacles or blocks?
Well, one thing that's coming up is asking what is the most simple action that you could take right now that would create a little bit of movement and flow? Is there something that is coming to mind?
So I'm looking at, obviously in the future, having multiple streams of income. I'm sort of thinking of whether just trying something like a part-time job, and that, that sort of can change a few things, like Alara was saying, movement. I'm coming out of where I am, taking the next step. So I love today's call. Really resonated with everything you've said, Alara, and I've made lots of notes. We're going to listen to the replay because there's so much information, and I wonder if it's for me, everything. It's sort of, I really resonated with all the nuggets that you've been offering. So I wonder if that's what you think. Tuning in, that's probably what I should do.
Well, what's coming up is this idea around really creative brainstorming for you, and brainstorming without limits, like really setting down and saying, what are all of my creative possibilities? Because when we allow our creativity to flow, we realize that there's so many different possibilities. And so I love the idea that you shared about getting a part-time job, because that might move the energy that, will get you out of the house, meeting new people, and it's the forward movement, right?
Yes.
There might be lots of different options of ways that you could make, subtle changes or big changes right now. So just really brainstorming without any limitations and really allowing your creativity to flow, and then attuning to, okay, I have this map of all of these possibilities that have flowed forward from me, and what is it that my soul is guiding me to do? What is the thing that feels like the most expansive, most aligned action for me to take? And I'm really excited for you, Manisha. I feel like in doing this exercise and really, picking one or two things to focus on that feel exciting for you, and sticking with it, and really encouraging yourself and celebrating yourself along the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alara. Thank you, Emily.
You're welcome. Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Manisha. And and that's a great exercise that Emily just shared, right? And so it is important to, like, just brainstorm, just doing a brain dump, right? You're just dumping everything that's there. And then, taking a deep breath, being in your heart space, and then looking at the list again and see what pops, right? What jumps out at you? Not from your mind. We're not trying to figure it out, but like from our heart space, what is popping, right? Because there's going to be 2 or 3 things that are going to pop, that are going to light up. And then, see if you can take 1 or 2 actions on one or two of those things and see how that feels. Again, it's not about trying to do the right thing, because there's no right thing. There's no should. What should I do? Right. But it's like, when you're talking to your soul, when you're talking to your higher self, it's like, okay, what is the next best thing for me right now, based on where I am with my energy and what I need next, and from the heart, right? Because your soul, your higher self, is not going to be talking into your mind. It's not going to say, do this. No, but you're going to get a feeling from your heart space when you're actually willing to understand and receive that, okay, I don't know everything. I don't know what the right thing is, because my logical brain, my mind does not know. So I'm going to follow my intuitive heart and see what it says, right? And just play with it, right? Without an agenda, and don't put so much attachment to anything, right? And just go with it and see what feels good. Just try it. Again, life is about playing as well as anything, playing with the energies, playing with how you feel in the moment. And then just take it. I think I read something somewhere today about life is a risk. Yeah, everything is a risk. There's no guarantees, right? So we learn from every experience. Both package A and B are the same, Astro Business, but package B has a masterclass with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully I didn't mess up somewhere, but package B has the masterclass with it. Package A is the whatever it is, and then package B is package A plus a masterclass. Caroline's asking. All right, so hopefully that helps, Manisha, and all of you, right? Like right now, as Emily was saying, it's a very magical time. It's a very potent time. It's a time where you want to be moving forward, right? The energies are such that they're going to motivate you to move forward, to take that step. But it doesn't mean a logical step sometimes. I've hardly ever made any logical steps, to be honest. The things that have worked out in my life have always been what felt right in the moment, doing that. And I've been questioned a lot by about my choices, but you know what? They all worked out when I followed my heart, when I followed the energy, when I followed what feels good. So,
Yes.
but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think also what's coming through is around trust, and when we trust ourselves and we step outside of our comfort zone, that always leads to magical places. And so, sometimes we want to look at the whole, staircase ahead, but it is that trust, that willingness to act upon what it is that is on our heart, that we're, that's guiding us forward, that will kind of move us outside of our comfort zone and lead to really exciting places.
Oh, absolutely. Trust is huge. It's a big piece. And, trust your knowing, trust your feelings, trust your wisdom, trust the energy that you're getting. I'm obviously a big energy person, right? But just trust and know that even if it's a mistake, right? You're learning from it. It's an experience that you're going to learn from it and get the wisdom from it. Okay. So there really are no failures. There's no mistakes. Everything is an experience for you to learn from. And, and then, the so-called mistakes or wounds, you could alchemize into blessings, like we talked about earlier. See how I brought it all back?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So please do that. I think it'll be fun. I think I might. No, I'm not going to do it this week. But in the next month, I might do that because, but by next month, it'll be like time to create something new.
Yes.
So then I'll be like brainstorming, All right, anything else you want to talk about, Emily, before we talk about the packages? Because we kind of got into that already a little bit because Caroline's question. So now I'm like curious, did I mess it up somehow? We'll have to see.
Yeah, those are right, the packages.
Yeah,
think-
okay, good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. And I'm just going to share my screen, everyone. So give me 1 second. I'm going to, oh, hold on. I'm going to type it in the chat. Hopefully I will still be here after I type it in the chat. alara.at/show/Emily9. Yes, okay, good. I'm still here. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Yeah, one of these days. Okay, yes. So package A is the Astro Business Blueprint for 111, and package B is the Astro Business Blueprint plus the Creative Alchemy Masterclass. Yes, okay. So Emily, do you want to talk a little bit about the blueprint? I know we've talked about it a bit, during the call here, but do you want to talk about a little bit more in detail about what people can really experience or expect?
Yes, absolutely. So when we're doing these sessions, it's so much fun because we're really looking holistically and we're looking at so many different modalities. So, I dive in and explore prior to us connecting, looking at the natal chart, looking at key transits. We're also looking at human design and gene keys, and some channeling that comes through during the session as well. So it's really looking at a person energetically, holistically, and in our time together, we really focus on what is on your heart to create and some of the energy that is helping and guiding and moving you forward, and how to work with that energy to really bring forward what is on your heart in this now moment. So it's a lot of fun. There's so much exploration, and really, these sessions are a time to connect even deeper with your innate gifts and abilities, what your soul is, perhaps desiring to explore and deepen into more. And looking at also, really practical aligned steps to bring your dreams into reality.
Awesome. And so this is a like 60-minute session, 60-minute session. And do they receive a PDF or anything like that?
There is a blueprint printout afterwards, and they are 60 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And this is, whenever I look at this with Emily, it's like the price is $111, which is nothing, I'll be honest, for just the blueprint and the 60-minute session. It's like unbelievable. So you definitely should get that. And then of course, package B includes the blueprint session plus the Creative Alchemy Masterclass. And what is that and when is that?
So this is a two-part series that's going to be taking place in November, and I'm so excited for this class because it's really, there's a power in manifesting when it's done collectively, and when we have the intention and energy of others sharing and really wanting us to bring forth our desires. And so there is going to be that exciting energy of creating together and co-creating in a heart-centered community. And we'll be working with some of the energetic and astrological energies, the full and new moon energies. So being able to really release what is holding us back and bringing forth that which is we're really desiring to create. And so there'll be tools and practices and actual steps that we'll go through in this creative alchemy process.
Awesome, beautiful. And so again, package B is $144, and with both packages, 2- and 3-part payment plans are available, and you can of course use my gift code of TACS10 to receive a bonus of 10% off. I don't like to say that in that way, but it's a gift from me to you. So please do take advantage of that. And like I said, just the blueprint session alone for 111, I really think Emily should be charging more, but we'll talk about that later. But I think it's worth way more, right? It's worth way more. So please do check that out at alara.at/show/Emily9. And it's not just if you're wanting to create business, like it's not just that. There's more to it involved in that, isn't there, Emily? Like, it's like, let's say I wasn't I wasn't a business person, but I was working in a job. Can I still, get it, and can it still be helpful and beneficial?
Absolutely. There's so much, more that we can focus on. So it might be soul purpose, it might be business, or it might be relationships. It might be,
Right.
your connection to yourself. There's so many different aspects that we can, cover in these sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Linda, the gift code is TACS10. And I will try and type it in here. TACS10. Okay, I'm still here. My computer needs, revamping. That's why it's like every time I type in the chat, it's like I might disappear, but I'm still here. So that TACS10 is the gift code that you can apply. Awesome. Any other questions around the blueprint? I just think you're amazing. I think the amount of knowledge and wisdom and talents you have with creating this is far exceeds what I've experienced in the past with other people. So there's you have a much different energy about you when you're working with people, and it's just so much more expansive and lighter than when I've worked with people in the past doing astrological stuff. So I really appreciate that about you. And you're seeing a much bigger picture. Like you said, it's holistic, right? So it's not just one point or one piece. It's a very holistic piece. So and I love that. So thank you. Anybody have any questions for Emily about the blueprint or the alchemy class or anything else that we've talked about today? So I feel like we talked, like we went so deep into so many different things.
Yes.
And like Manisha was saying, she just has to listen to the replay because there are so many nuggets, so much wisdom. Absolutely, I totally agree. Linda, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
I guess I just have a question about the alchemy. I have so many things that are awakening within me. And I'm wondering if there's any suggestions to cement them in. It seems like I kind of go back and forth with a lot of things. Once it comes, I just want to hang on to it and expand from it. And I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for that.
For really bringing it in and grounding it into your physical reality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful question. And it sounds like, so much that's happening and unfolding. And so, really perhaps a grounding practice or an intention practice. I don't know, Linda, if you have an altar in your home or somewhere where you really connect with prayer, meditation, something like this, or maybe it's outdoors. I see that you're in a beautiful location, and so deeply connected to nature. But something like this can be really helpful to develop a ritual or practice around actually grounding in whatever it is that's on our heart to bring into physical form. And so maybe it's a daily practice or something where it's placed on your altar and you spend time really connecting with that energy, visualizing it, actually seeing what it is that you're calling in to create. And a lot of times it is that practice of seeing it and seeing it crystallize through the sacred geometry of the heart, that we're able to magnetize that and bring it in. And it's just amazing what unfolds. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. And I'm seeing you on the ground, like really kind of grounding this in.
Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate that. And thank you for being the beautiful being you are and for all you're doing. So appreciated.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much, love.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Love you.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you, Laura. Love you too.
Thank you. Love you too. And that was such a great question because, a lot of times that's what people are wanting. It's like they're wanting to embody the experiences, the qualities, the frequencies that they're bringing in. They're wanting to ground them into their being and at the same time maintain them in their being, right? And a lot of times it has to do with focus. What are you focusing on? What is your intention? right? And then of course the daily grounding practice. You know, let's face it, a lot of us are in our heads or we're out here, right? We are, but we need to be, if we're going to create anything, we have to be in our body. So grounding does not always necessarily mean grounding into Mother Earth, but it's also about being physically present in the body, right? And so the more that we can be physically present here in the body, the more that we can create and alchemize and embody everything that we want, right? So just remember that every time you're feeling like anything like it's not working, I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, I'm not sure if I'm embodying these qualities or whatever, are you in your body? Because you're probably not, you're in your head. Okay, and I know the head is part of the body, but you know what I mean. Right, you know what I mean. So
yes,
it's so important. We cannot create just from our minds. We have to create through the body, through action, but inspired action, right? So using the energies, frequencies, the astrological placements of what's going on in our chart and what's going on collectively, using all those energies, using the energies of the full moon and new moon and the eclipses. All of that is there for us to, I don't like the word use, but all of that is there for us to work with, to support us, right? To support us in creating our best life and whatever that happens to be, our best business, our best expression of who we are.
yes. And for me, you know, that brings up the word superabundance, which is a word that I absolutely love. And it's this idea that abundance is multidimensional in nature. And it's not just, you know, financial. That's perhaps one aspect of it, but abundance is really the ability to connect with that which we love and have it expressed in so many different ways. And, you know, in the gene keys, Richard read, there's a gene key that's the 53rd gene key, and it's actually called superabundance. And it's one that I love. And the way that he describes it is that, you know, superabundance is our ability to evolve and to change our consciousness. And it is also the ability to really step outside of our comfort zone. And when we do that, have those two components of really, you know, changing vibrationally, attuning to abundance and stepping outside of our comfort zone, we see our lives begin to expand in this multidimensional way. We see so much abundance around us. And so that's my prayer and you know, invitation for everyone joining us today. You know, just so grateful to connect in this way and really, you know, with using the air energy that's happening this month, you know, the grand trine and air signs of really, you know, tapping in and connecting with that which is on your heart, that which, you know, creates a lightness of being, that which feels more abundant, you know, really feeling that and connecting with that at this time.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely. And of course, you know, like we said before, please do take this opportunity to work with Emily with the packages, package A or B, or either one, but definitely, you know, do the personal session with Emily. I highly recommend it, because her sessions are not going to be at this price point for much longer, because she, you know, she puts in so much energy and work and integrity into her sessions that you will be blown away. So I highly encourage you to do that, and it's going to help you to really see where you are right now. And for so many people asking, I'm not sure what's going on, I don't know what's happening, I'm feeling stuck, I don't know where I'm going. Well, getting this, you know, blueprint session with Emily is going to give you that clarity, right? And it's going to help you to take those steps to move forward. Momentum, you know, breeds more momentum, right? So, you know, and that's how shifts and change happen, all right, by taking action. So definitely the packages again are available at alara.at/show/Emily9. And again, there are 2 and 3 part payment plans available if you so require. And of course, the 24-hour gift code TACS10. Please do take advantage of that as well as my gift to you. All right. Whew. I also have to go back and watch or listen to this again, because there was so much wisdom, so many nuggets, and so much wonderful energy that came through this call. So thank you so much, everybody, for your questions. And thank you, Emily, again, for a wonderful show. wonderful wisdom, wonderful nuggets. You always leave me with feeling complete, but also it's like, oh, I want to know more. I want to know more. It's like, I wonder what else is possible for me to know. And the thing is, there's always so much more that's possible for you to know. And there's always so much more that's possible for you to experience and create. Okay, so some of us might think, oh, well, I know everything. I never say that because it's like, I don't know everything at all. But there's always so much more that's possible for you. And I encourage you and I invite you to take advantage of this offering with Emily. All right, so it is Sunday, everyone. So have a wonderful rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. And thank you so much for being here with us today. And thank you again, Emily. And I'm so glad that everything is fine for you in Tampa. And that, there were no problems. When is the class? November 10th, I think.
And 17th.
10th and 17th?
I think so.
Or 10th and 16th or 17th, something like that. I did look at it briefly. I saw it and it's like, okay, I know what that is. So yeah, the two classes, a two-part class is November 10th and 17th.
Oh, awesome. Alara, thank you so much.
How long for the session? So how long of a wait for the session? I'm assuming, I think that she means how long of a wait time is there for a session?
About 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, that's good. So not too long, right? So definitely book in as soon as you can. Thank you. It's good to meet on a Sunday. Oh, good. Thank you, Sandra. All right, everyone. So thank you. And thank you, Emily, so much for a wonderful, wonderful show again. Thank you. So until next time, everyone, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.